Have you ever wondered if a private moment could silently steal your strength, balance, or even your life after 60? For a 72-year-old man, healthy and full of vitality, one such moment in his bathroom led to a devastating collapse, with no warning, no trauma, just the wrong time of day. That single choice cost him everything. I'm Dr. James, a men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping older men safeguard their vitality, circulation, and confidence without pills or shame. In this video, you'll uncover the 7 most dangerous times of day to masturbate after 60. A topic no one talks about but everyone needs to hear. Why watch until the end? This isn't just about avoiding risks. It's about reclaiming control over your health and independence. You'll discover how small, everyday habits can trigger dizziness, blood vessel strain, or fatal falls, and why ignoring this could lead to irreversible consequences like losing your ability to walk unaided or suffering a silent heart arrhythmia. I'll reveal the absolute worst time to engage in self-pleasure after 70, when vascular collapse spikes, and share the safest time to protect your strength. With real patient stories and physiological insights tied to blood pressure, hydration, and heart rhythm, you'll gain clarity to make smarter choices. Don't let embarrassment or silence claim your future. Stay with me to learn how to honor your body and live fully, because your next choice could change everything. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. Right after waking up, when blood pressure surges unexpectedly. The moment right after waking up, when your blood pressure surges unexpectedly, may seem like an ordinary, even mundane, part of the day. For many men, this time can feel like an impulse, a natural desire to relieve tension and start the day with a sense of calm. But there's something vital that I need to make you aware of, especially if you're over 60. You must understand what's happening inside your body during these first few moments after you open your eyes, because this time of day is far more dangerous than most people realize. When you wake up, your body begins a sharp and sudden transition. Your blood pressure spikes in response, your heart rate quickens, and your adrenal glands unleash a surge of cortisol and adrenaline, stress hormones designed to get you up and moving. This process is not gentle, and it's certainly not kind to an older body. For someone in their 20s or 30s, the cardiovascular system can handle these fluctuations fairly easily, but for men over 60, it's like trying to start a car that hasn't been properly warmed up for months. Your body, tired and stiff from sleep, isn't ready for such a jarring shift. Now, here's where things can go dangerously wrong. Many men, thinking they're simply addressing a natural desire, decide to engage in self-pleasure right after waking up. But here's the problem. When you add sexual arousal and climax on top of this already chaotic hormonal storm, you're setting your body up for serious trouble. Masturbation requires blood to rush to the genitals, pulling circulation away from other vital organs. The orgasm itself is an explosive, intense experience, one that causes a sudden rise in blood pressure, followed by a rapid drop. Your heart races, your breathing shifts, and your nervous system gets overstimulated. The body isn't just reacting to the arousal, it's already dealing with the physical demands of waking up. For younger men, this stress can be handled, though still not ideal. But for older adults, especially those with heart conditions, high blood pressure, or even mild circulatory issues, this combination can be deadly. I've seen it firsthand. One patient, a 74-year-old man who was fairly active and thought himself to be healthy, passed out just minutes after finishing his morning routine. After reviewing what had happened, it was clear that he had masturbated immediately after waking up. His blood pressure spiked, and the physical exertion pushed his heart beyond its limits. He fainted, hitting his head on the bathroom counter. Thankfully, he survived, but it wasn't without consequences. He now requires assistance to walk and has lost his independence. I'll never forget the look in his eyes as he told me, with tears streaming down his face, "If someone had just told me it was risky, I never would have done it." That's why I'm telling you now, what might seem like a harmless act, a simple relief of tension, can become a moment that changes the trajectory of your life. Your body, at this stage in life, needs to be treated with care. It needs time to wake up slowly. Hydration, gentle movement, and oxygen, not overstimulation. And certainly not when your blood vessels are constricting and your heart is already working harder than it should be. So before you give in to that morning urge, I urge you to ask yourself, is the pleasure worth the potential price? Your body is wiser now, but it's also more fragile. It's not about shame, it's about survival. And trust me, if you think this is dangerous, wait until you hear what happens later in the day, during that hidden, yet incredibly risky, time of afternoon fatigue. Most seniors fall victim to it without even realizing the dangers. But that's a story for another time. 2. During afternoon fatigue, when your energy is lowest, there's a quiet danger hidden in the middle of your day. In the quiet moments of the afternoon, when the weight of the day has settled in, there is a hidden danger that many don't even recognize. It creeps in unnoticed, disguised as a familiar feeling of fatigue. It feels like a need to rest, to take a break, to lie down and recharge. But here's the truth. This seemingly innocent dip in energy is much more significant than we often realize. For many seniors, this period between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. is when the body naturally begins to slow down. It's the part of the day when our energy reserves feel depleted, and the body quietly calls for a pause. The instinct to rest, to disconnect, feels so natural. And why not? We deserve peace. We deserve comfort. It's been a long day, and it feels like the right time to give in to that urge for release, for a moment of escape from the demands of life. But this is where things can go wrong, where the seemingly harmless urge can become the turning point for many lives. What most men don't know is that this quiet lull in the afternoon can be a moment of vulnerability for your body. It's like a gentle storm brewing beneath the surface. Your blood pressure begins to dip, circulation slows down, and your nervous system slides into a mild slump. This is why so many of us feel sluggish or unmotivated during this time. It's the body's way of telling you to slow down and conserve energy. But in the midst of this, there is something more, something subtle that we rarely acknowledge. The heart slows its pace, the brain drops its alertness, and the muscles, especially in older bodies, become more prone to stiffness, imbalance, and slower reaction times. And yet, this is when many men choose to engage in sexual activity or masturbation, thinking it's just another way to relax. But here's the thing, your body in this state is not prepared for such a drastic shift. The energy it takes to stimulate arousal demands a sudden, jarring shift from low to high energy. It's an abrupt transition that can put undue stress on your cardiovascular system, one that your body simply can't always handle, especially when you're older. It's not just about feeling tired afterward, as many might think. No, it's about the toll it takes on your body in ways that you may not immediately see. For older men, the body is not as resilient, and the blood pressure tends to drop unpredictably. The arousal draws from your energy reserves that are already low, and this imbalance can leave you vulnerable. I've heard countless stories of men who thought it was just a brief moment of weakness, only to realize that the consequences were far more serious. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. I remember one man, in his early 70s, who shared with me how he masturbated during an afternoon lull, then fell asleep in his recliner. When he woke up hours later, his neck was stiff, and he felt completely out of sorts. At first, he thought it was just some typical stiffness. But 2 days later, he was in the emergency room being treated for a minor stroke. The shock was profound. The risk is not just hypothetical, it's real. Afternoon masturbation can trigger something known as postural hypotension, where your blood pressure drops so rapidly that it can cause dizziness, fainting, or even falls. When this happens after you've been seated, and then you stand up too quickly, you might collapse right where you stand, hitting furniture or worse, injuring yourself. Even if there's no immediate fall, many seniors report feeling overwhelmingly sleepy afterward, with their legs feeling weak and their minds clouded in a fog. These aren't mere coincidences or temporary discomforts. They are signs that your body is under too much strain. It's as though your body is whispering to you, telling you it's stretched thin. You've survived this long by listening to what your body tells you, and now, more than ever, it's crucial to pay attention to the signals. Afternoon fatigue is not the time to push through. It's the time to honor what your body needs: rest, hydration, stretching, or even a brief nap. If intimacy is something you crave, consider planning it for a time when your body is more awake, more balanced, and better prepared to handle it. Your body deserves that care and understanding. Because, as harmful as afternoon fatigue can be, there's another moment that holds its own, a moment most of us never think twice about, but that carries a completely different kind of danger. It's a time when the body is already under pressure, and if you're not careful, you might be unknowingly sabotaging your health. Let's take a closer look at what happens when you choose the wrong moment right after a big meal. 3. Immediately after a big meal, when digestion takes priority. It's a surprising truth, but some of the most dangerous moments for older men don't occur during extreme activities or high-risk situations. They happen in those quiet, ordinary moments. Moments when you're simply enjoying a hearty meal, something many of us take for granted. You know the feeling. You've just finished a satisfying lunch or dinner, pushed your plate aside, and felt that comforting wave of contentment wash over you. It's the kind of satisfaction that makes you want to lean back, relax, and let your body ease into the rest of the day. For some men, especially those who live alone or have flexible routines, that moment of relaxation can turn into something more. A moment of self-pleasure, a small personal reward, a brief escape from the world around them. It's a way to unwind and transition into the afternoon or evening. But what many don't realize is that in that seemingly peaceful moment, a hidden battle is taking place within the body. Right after you finish eating, your body's focus shifts almost entirely to digestion. Your heart works harder, pumping more blood to your stomach and intestines to help process the food. Blood vessels widen and contract, energy is directed to the core, and this complex system ensures that digestion runs smoothly. But this shift comes at a cost. The rest of your body receives minimal support during this time, and your energy is drained from other vital functions. Now, when you attempt to engage in sexual activity, such as masturbation, right after eating, you're diverting blood flow away from the digestive system to your pelvic region. This creates a dangerous conflict inside your body. It's as if you're asking your heart to multitask in ways it simply can't handle, especially as you age. For men over 60, this demand can be too much for the cardiovascular system, which may already be under strain. I remember working with a 69-year-old man who often felt lightheaded after self-pleasing shortly after meals. He initially brushed it off as just another part of aging, something to be expected. But one evening, after dinner, he fainted in his kitchen. When he collapsed, it was clear that the issue was more serious than he had realized. The post-meal blood diversion, combined with the exertion of orgasm, caused his blood pressure to plummet so quickly that he lost consciousness before he could steady himself. His fall fractured his pelvis, sending him to rehabilitation for 8 weeks. Afterward, he said something that stuck with me: "If I'd known it was dangerous, I never would have risked it for something so trivial." It was a sobering realization. The truth is, even if the damage isn't immediate, it accumulates over time. Repeatedly masturbating after meals can strain the digestive process, trigger nausea or cramping, cause headaches from reduced oxygenation, and bring on sudden fatigue. For those managing diabetes or fluctuating blood sugar, the impact can be even more severe. A climax during digestion can disrupt insulin sensitivity, causing spikes in blood sugar or leading to unexpected crashes. This isn't about restricting your freedom. It's about making smarter choices, respecting your body's natural rhythm, and learning how to work with it, not against it. Your body isn't broken, but it has changed. It requires cooperation, not conflict, with the way it functions. Understanding this balance is crucial to maintaining your health as you age. And while we've touched on the digestive system, there's something even more subtle and far more dangerous that we need to discuss next. It's something you don't feel until it's too late, and it might be happening to you more often than you realize. Let's talk about the hidden dangers of dehydration. For, while dehydrated, is a hidden risk that strikes fast. Dehydration is one of those things we often overlook. Many men don't give it a second thought. After all, you feel fine, right? You didn't break a sweat today, and maybe you had a cup or two of coffee. So, what's the big deal? But what you might not realize is that, as we age, our body's ability to signal thirst begins to weaken. You don't feel thirsty the way you used to, and by the time that parched feeling creeps in, your body is already operating at a deficit. And by then, the damage is already quietly happening inside, often without you even knowing. Here's where it gets tricky. Something as private and personal as masturbation can become a hidden risk when you're dehydrated. Your blood needs water to flow efficiently. Your muscles need hydration to move smoothly without cramps or fatigue. Your heart depends on the right fluid balance in your bloodstream to function properly and avoid unnecessary strain. When you're even slightly dehydrated, your blood thickens, your blood vessels constrict, and your heart has to work overtime just to keep your body functioning. Now, add sexual arousal into the mix. Arousal increases your heart rate, draws blood to the pelvic region, and causes a surge of tension to be released all at once. It's a natural response, but it's also a lot of strain on a body already teetering on the edge. I recall one man in his late 60s who had been experiencing troubling symptoms right after climaxing: leg cramps and heart palpitations. At first, it didn't make sense to him, but once we reviewed his daily habits, the pattern became clear. He wasn't drinking water throughout the day. Instead, he was sipping on several cups of coffee. Then, in the afternoon, he would feel the urge and act on it. His muscles were desperate for hydration, his blood pressure was unstable, and after orgasm, his body would not relax like it should. Instead, it would revolt with sharp cramps and a pounding heart. He thought it was anxiety, but in reality, it was his body signaling a serious red flag. Dehydration isn't just uncomfortable, it disrupts circulation, lowers your energy levels, and increases the risk of urinary tract infections, UTIs. For men with prostate issues, this becomes even more dangerous. After the climax, if your bladder and urethra don't flush out properly due to lack of hydration, bacteria can multiply and spread. This leads to frequent infections, and the sense of relief after intimacy is soon replaced by burning sensations, discomfort, and a sudden need to urinate more often, sometimes just hours later. But it doesn't end there. The effects of dehydration on your brain can be just as alarming. You might experience post-orgasm dizziness, lightheadedness, or even confusion. And no, it's not all in your head. It's your brain's way of reacting to the lack of oxygen-rich blood. For older adults, even brief moments of confusion can be dangerous. It can lead to accidents, slips, or disorientation that leaves you feeling shaken for the rest of the day, potentially leading to more serious falls or injuries. I want you to understand this. This isn't about limiting your enjoyment. It's about protecting your strength, your health, and your well-being. Hydration is one of the easiest and most overlooked ways to take care of yourself. If you're planning to engage in self-intimacy, it's crucial to hydrate first. Drink some water, and give your body the support it needs to handle the experience safely. But dehydration isn't the only hidden risk lurking in this intimate process. There's another seemingly harmless moment that can be just as deceptive, one that many don't think twice about. It happens in the one room of the house where most accidents can be most fatal. So, let's now explore what happens when you masturbate right after a hot shower. 5. Right after showering, a false sense of relaxation. Right after a warm shower, there's a false sense of relaxation that many of us, especially older men, can easily fall prey to. The gentle warmth of the water, the soothing steam that fills the air, the sensation of the muscles relaxing. It all feels like the perfect antidote to the exhaustion or stress that can weigh heavily on us throughout the day. There's something undeniably comforting about it. It's a moment of peace, a brief escape, where everything feels right with the world. The mind quiets, the body loosens up, and for a brief moment, everything feels at ease. But I want to stress something that many people overlook. That sense of peace can be misleading, especially when it comes to the choices we make in those post-shower moments. I completely understand why it seems like the perfect time to unwind, maybe even indulge in a moment of private pleasure. It feels safe, quiet, and personal. The bathroom, that intimate space, seems like a sanctuary from the demands of life. But what your body is going through on the inside doesn't match the calm you feel on the outside. When you step out of a warm shower, your body is still carrying the effects of the heat. The warmth causes vasodilation, meaning your blood vessels expand, blood pressure drops slightly, and circulation slows in some areas of the body. This can leave you feeling lightheaded, especially if you've been standing for too long or if the room is steamy, almost like the world around you is moving in slow motion. It's easy to think this is just part of feeling relaxed, but there's a deeper reality at play. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Here's where things can go wrong. When you choose that moment, when you're still warm, still a bit unsteady, to masturbate, you're asking your heart and nervous system to respond in ways that can put you at risk. Sexual stimulation redirects blood flow quickly to the lower body, competing with the circulatory changes that are already happening in your body. For seniors, this quick shift in pressure and blood flow distribution can lead to a cascade of problems. Dizziness, a racing or irregular heartbeat, sudden weakness in your legs, nausea, or even collapse. I've seen the aftermath of what should have been an innocent moment of indulgence. I've sat with families whose worlds were turned upside down because a father or a grandfather slipped in the bathroom, suffered a fall, and couldn't call for help. A simple moment of instability, when stimulation met vulnerability, resulted in devastation. It's not just the falls I've witnessed, it's the long-term consequences that no one talks about, that never get mentioned because of embarrassment or silence. But the pattern is there. The dangerous combination of heightened stimulation and post-shower instability is often a recipe for disaster. Even if the result isn't as catastrophic as a fall, it can still leave lasting consequences. Feeling faint after climax, needing to grip the sink for balance, struggling to breathe, or trembling while drying off, these aren't just signs of normal aging. They are your body's way of telling you, not now. Not like this. If you ignore that message, if you continue to push your body beyond its limits without listening to its subtle warnings, the next signal might come when it's far too late to react. And so, I urge you, as someone who truly cares about your well-being, to not underestimate the power of timing. The bathroom is not a safe space for stimulation. It's a place where many strong men have unknowingly reached their limits, not realizing that their bodies are already on the edge. Before engaging in any activity that could increase your internal pressure, let your body cool down first. Sit down. Hydrate. Give your heart the time it needs to find its natural rhythm again. Only then should you consider anything that could further strain your system. The truth is, it's not just the physical factors we need to be wary of, it's the emotional ones too. We all experience emotional stress, but few of us truly understand the impact it has on our bodies and decision-making. When we're under stress, even the smallest choice can set off a chain of events that spirals into something far more significant than we anticipated. And often, it's not just the immediate consequences that affect us, it's the long-term consequences that continue to haunt us far beyond the moment. 6. During high emotional stress, when the body is already overloaded, there are moments in life when the weight of everything feels heavier than usual. In moments of deep emotional distress, When the weight of the world seems to press down harder than usual, life can feel overwhelmingly heavy. Grief, loneliness, frustration, regret. These emotions seem to anchor us in place, and it's as if they settle in our chest, in our throat, in the silence of spaces that once felt filled with love and laughter. It's in these vulnerable, raw moments that the impulse to seek comfort, to find some form of solace, can become overwhelming. Self-pleasure, often seen as a simple act of personal release, may seem like a way to cope, a way to escape the pain. And there's indeed a natural human desire for release, for connection, even if it's just with yourself in the quiet of the night. But this is also the time when that impulse can be the most dangerous, when the risk of turning to it becomes much greater than its perceived benefits. When you're under emotional stress, your body is already in fight or flight mode. Cortisol levels surge, your heart races, your blood vessels constrict, and every breath you take feels shallow and tight. Your body, in its natural defensive state, is preparing for danger, even when there's no immediate threat. This is where the danger lies, when you try to introduce something that requires relaxation, balance, and calm. Your body isn't in a state to receive pleasure. It's barely holding itself together. I once had a patient, a widower in his early 70s, whose words have stayed with me for years. He shared that after the death of his wife, he turned to masturbation, not for pleasure, but as a form of escape. He thought it might help him sleep, numb the pain of his grief, or fill the loneliness that seemed to surround him every day. But each time he turned to it during those emotionally low moments, he found that, far from offering relief, it only made things worse. He experienced a sense of physical discomfort, heart palpitations, shortness of breath, and a deep sense of weakness that left him feeling shaken as if he were completely drained. He couldn't understand why, after trying to find comfort, he felt worse. He feared something was wrong with him, that his body had betrayed him in a way he couldn't comprehend. But what he didn't realize, what I helped him see, was that his body was simply reacting to being pushed beyond its limits in an already fragile state. Emotional stress is a physical burden in itself. The constant pressure raises your blood pressure, weakens your immune system, clouds your mental clarity, and leaves you feeling drained. When you add sexual stimulation into that mix, it can tip the scales in dangerous ways, especially for older men. The consequences can be far-reaching. Panic-like episodes during climax, post-orgasmic depression, shortness of breath, and, in extreme cases, sudden cardiac instability. These physical reactions may seem disconnected from the act itself, but trust me, the connection is very real. There is nothing inherently wrong with seeking pleasure, with wanting to feel good again. But the timing is everything. When you're angry, anxious, overwhelmed, or deep in sadness, your body isn't in a place where it can safely experience that release. What you need in those moments is compassion, gentleness, and nourishment for your soul. Whether it's in the form of a soothing prayer, a restorative walk, a calming conversation, or simply resting. It's not about pushing your body further into stress. It's about calming the storm inside you. When you've given yourself the time and space to heal, when your breathing slows and your heart regains its natural rhythm, then perhaps self-intimacy can become something nurturing, something positive, instead of a force that deepens the wound. But here's the truth. There's one time of day that many believe is the safest for this kind of private release, and yet, it's often one of the most misunderstood. The consequences of acting on this belief can quietly follow you into the night, leaving you with a sense of restlessness that lingers far longer than expected. Let's talk about what happens when you masturbate right before bed and how that too might impact your health. 7. Right before bed, when the body needs recovery, not strain. For many older men, nighttime is seen as a private, sacred window for self-intimacy. The day has ended, the world has quieted down, and there's no one around to judge or interrupt. It's as if the evening offers a final moment to unwind, release all the built-up tension, and find some peace before sleep takes over. I understand that. It's a deeply human instinct, one that feels comforting in its simplicity. But as we grow older, there are important truths we must consider. truths that may be difficult to face but are crucial for maintaining our health and well-being. For men over 60, what seems like a harmless bedtime habit can quietly rob your body of the very rest and recovery it desperately needs. As the sun sets, your body shifts gears naturally. It's the time for restoration. Your heart rate slows, your blood pressure begins to drop, and your core temperature cools. Your body starts producing melatonin and serotonin, hormones that help you relax and unwind. Meanwhile, cortisol, the stress hormone, begins to fade into the background. This is your body's natural signal to heal and recover. But when you introduce stimulation, like arousal and orgasm, during this delicate time, it disrupts the body's natural rhythm. After the climax, your heart rate may spike again. Your blood vessels constrict. For some men, particularly those with prostate issues or mild urinary problems, this can lead to frequent trips to the bathroom throughout the night. Although you may fall asleep quickly, that sleep is often lighter and more fragmented. You may wake up several times, feeling unrest, disoriented, and irritated, unaware of the cause. I recall a patient of mine, a 71-year-old man who struggled with increasingly restless nights. He would wake up multiple times to urinate, and his dreams became more vivid and disturbing. He initially thought it was simply the result of aging, but when we examined his routine, we discovered that he was engaging in self-intimacy right before bed. Once he adjusted, allowing at least 2 hours of wind-down time before sleep, his sleep improved dramatically. This habit also affects your body's ability to detox and regenerate. Sleep is when your brain flushes waste, your muscles repair, and your immune system resets. But if your system is overstimulated, those crucial processes are interrupted. A single night of disrupted sleep can turn into days of fatigue, poor balance, foggy thinking, and reduced motivation. It's not just sleep you're losing, it's your strength, clarity, and peace. The goal isn't to eliminate pleasure, it's about protecting its place in a body that deserves care. Instead of making climax the last thing you do before sleep, shift it to an earlier part of the evening. Allow your system time to settle. Let your body gently drift into rest, sending the clear message that it's time to restore, not react. But now that you've seen these 7 risky moments, you might be wondering, is there ever a safe time for intimacy? The answer is yes. There's a time when your body is naturally aligned for stability, strength, and recovery. Let's explore that next. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. The safest time for older men to engage in self-pleasure is late morning, between 9 and 11 a.m. This is when your body has had time to wake up fully. Your blood pressure has leveled out from its early morning spike. You've likely had some hydration, perhaps a light breakfast, and you've moved around a bit. Your circulation is flowing, your mind is clearer, and your heart is settled into a more even rhythm. This is when your body is best equipped to handle the temporary demands of arousal and orgasm. In my experience working with older men, I've seen a consistent pattern. Those who waited until late morning to engage in intimacy, whether with a partner or privately, reported fewer side effects, better energy afterward, and fewer instances of dizziness, fatigue, or emotional crashes. They felt more in control, more connected to their bodies, and more confident in how they managed their health. This shift also reframes the experience. When intimacy is no longer seen as a secret escape or a quick fix at the end of the day, but instead as a conscious part of your wellness routine, it changes everything. It's no longer a desperate attempt to numb or distract yourself. It's an intentional choice to connect with your body when it's strongest, clearest, and least likely to suffer harm. It becomes a moment of strength, not vulnerability. I remember one patient, a 67-year-old retired engineer, who started setting aside time mid-morning a few times a week, not just for pleasure, but for self-check-ins. He said it helped him stay more aware of his energy levels, hydration, and emotional state. This simple change made a huge difference in how he felt throughout the day. He began to see intimacy as a natural part of his health routine, not something separate from it. So, if you've been wondering when the safest time is, now you know. Wait until your body has fully entered the day. Hydrate, breathe, move around a little, and then if the desire is there and your mind feels calm, you're choosing a time when your body is best prepared to respond without risk. After 60, it's not just about what you do. It's about when and how you do it that truly matters. And now that you know the safest time, let's discuss what this means for your life moving forward. You've just learned something that most men your age were never told. Not by their doctors, not by their friends, not even by the health warnings they thought covered everything. But now, you know the truth. After 60, timing matters. What once felt harmless or routine can silently become a threat to your strength, balance, and overall well-being. This isn't about shame, it's about awareness, about honoring the body that has carried you this far and protecting the life you still have ahead of you. As we've explored today, timing and awareness truly matter when it comes to self-intimacy, especially as we age. From understanding how late-night activities can disrupt your body's natural healing process to discovering the ideal time for intimacy when your body is strongest and most balanced, these insights can help you maintain your health and well-being. So, what have you learned so far? What's one key takeaway that you plan to incorporate into your routine moving forward? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear how this information will impact your life. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, share it with others who could benefit, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel for more valuable tips and insights. Thank you for watching, and take care of your health. It truly is the foundation of everything.